I'm starting by gathering information from the text about what Harris thinks about each E. Megan Flowers' approaches to teaching. So just gathering points and quotes. I want to find quotes that just show what his opinion of their teaching is and what exactly he doesn't like about it. I just kind of want to analyze what his main arguments against each of them is, because he seems just to have a problem with Emig's process. I want specific examples to support whatever claims I'm making. I'm not getting too specific even in my examples, just because this is sort of like my version of an outline. And I'm not looking at how I say stuff or wording or anything, just getting the ideas down. Looking in the book for more examples. And looking at his critique on flowers. And again, just getting some quotes. And so I was kind of looking at them to see if I see any similarities and differences to sort of compare and contrast them. Then now that I have sort of the basic information, I'm actually going to try to start writing a response to the prompt. Process. I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Again, thinking of how to phrase it. I'm not very good at free writing, kind of have to think through things as I write them, because I kind of want them to sound right the first time, even though I always do go back and edit. Just thinking about how to support my argument. This problem with just trying to get my thoughts down, what my opinions are of how Harris is analyzing how he's analyzing Emig and Flowers. Thinking of, again, how I want to phrase this. I think that Harris was definitely more concerned with the way Emig set up her study. He's kind of picking apart her methods more than anything. So by making a claim, I want to support it. Just choosing which quote I want to use. And then I kind of want to expand on and analyze what I've claimed and supported. It's an unnecessary word. I'm just thinking about whether or not I'm making another claim or if this is actually analysis. Trying to say all this out loud and write at the same time is actually kind of disrupting the process I usually go through. Like, I need to sit here and think about it, but I'm trying to remember that I need to actually say stuff too. Because study was biased. Checking the book for something. Looking for a quote right now. A comparison. I'm gonna compare them just so that I have some sort of structure. Just thinking about what exactly I want to say on Harris's argument for flowers. And that he kind of focused more on the way that she doesn't apply what she knows about writing process to the parts of writing that really matter. She gets too focused on the sort of superficial aspects like style and form. I'm looking for something in the book. Just thinking what word I want to use. Just copy and pasting a quote. It's not going to let me without getting out of this, I don't think. I don't know. rereading what I wrote to try to get back on track of my thought process. He seems to think that Flowers doesn't apply her knowledge of the writing process in a beneficial way. She gets distracted by superficial aspects. Thinking how I want to analyze this. Looking for something in the book. So, it's not going where I want it to. Referring to the book again. I'd say that Flowers is kind of pushing towards this mechanical version of writing that's just going to give a teacher what they want, as opposed to the individualistic side of it. Doing that seems to suggest that there's like a general writing process that you can just learn to emulate and apply, when I personally think that it's very, very much based on the individual. Moving on to my evaluation of his critique. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. I definitely think that Emig's study was heavily flawed. There were too many variables and that she didn't take into account, and it was just very uncontrolled. And I also think that Flowers gets way too focused on the superficial aspects. Like I was saying, I don't know whether, like, this is how I actually think, or if I'm just trying to say what needs to be said for this assignment. I think a lot of her students probably had that same issue. when I look at e-make study, I kind of think of it in context of my bio major, and I kind of think about how you have to prove that alternative explanations are not true, whereas Harris seems to be suggesting that e-make just kind of tosses them out. Of course, I don't know if his reading of her is biased or not. So I'm going to say Harris suggested. When she looks at a piece of writing and then gives a revised version of it and says that that revision is better, I agree with Harris that the first one was actually better. The second one feels very constructed and it doesn't actually say anything, as opposed to the opinion and the experience that comes through in the first one. I'm referring back to the book for something. And just what I take from Harris's critique of these two different pieces of writing is that the first one, the voice changed. The first one was the writer, the second one was the writer trying to fit into a formula. And it just feels very polished. I don't know what the word I want is. It's not generalized. It's mechanical. So this has been going on for 27 minutes. I think it's only supposed to go on for 10. So I'm gonna stop.